Lily sat beside her sick mother's bed, holding her weak hand tightly as she whispered promises that she would keep the family together no matter what, unaware that life was about to test her in the cruelest way possible. Jason stood at the door, looking impatient and detached, already thinking about the house and inheritance more than the fading heartbeat of the woman who raised them. When their mother passed away, Lily cried into her pillow for nights, grieving the only person who ever gave her unconditional love, while Jason barely shed a tear and instead spent those days calculating how fast he could take control of the property. Their relatives offered sympathy to Lily, but Jason kept pulling her aside, insisting they handle the paperwork quickly, before outsiders interfered. Jason arrived with legal documents he claimed were needed to finalize ownership so Lily wouldn't deal with stress, convincing her that signing them would protect their mother's wish to keep the house and the family. And Lily trusted him because he was her big brother, the one she believed would never hurt her. She signed without reading closely, thinking she was securing her mother's legacy, while Jason hid a cold smirk behind his supportive facade. Days later, Lily returned home to find the locks changed and her belongings thrown into trash bags outside. And Jason stood at the door with a blank expression as he told her the house was legally his now. She begged him to open the door, to talk, to explain why he would do this. But he simply shrugged and said she had signed her rights away and needed to move on. Lily sat on the curb beside her scattered belongings, hugging an old framed photo of her mother, feeling more abandoned than ever in her life as neighbors watched with pity she wished she could disappear from. The home she grew up in, the walls that once echoed with bedtime stories and laughter, now stood cold behind a locked door that her own brother had shut on her. With nowhere to go and savings barely enough for food, Lily slept in a cheap room she rented for a few days, crying silently into her jacket as she stared at the ceiling, asking what she did wrong to deserve this betrayal from her only remaining family. The pain of losing her mother had been unbearable, but losing her brother by betrayal felt like losing her entire identity. She tried calling Jason again and again, hoping he would feel some guilt or mercy, but he ignored every message, and when he finally replied once, all he wrote was, "Stop bothering me." "It's done." Lily stared at the screen through blurry tears, realizing her brother never loved her the way she loved him. Lily attempted to rebuild her life by taking small jobs at a local diner, washing dishes and cleaning tables just to survive, reminding herself every day that her mother raised her with kindness, not greed. She kept a small picture of her and her mom inside her apron pocket, holding it during breaks to gather strength to keep going. One evening, after a long shift, Lily passed by her old neighborhood and stood across the street from the house that was once her safe place, now glowing with fancy lights and loud laughter as Jason hosted a party. She watched through the window as Jason proudly showed guests his property, and every smile he flashed stabbed deeper into Lily's heart as she whispered, "Mom, I'm sorry. I failed us." As rain began to fall, Lily walked away, soaked and shivering, yet refusing to collapse because she knew no one would catch her if she fell now, and she had to learn how to hold herself together. Her mother's last words echoed in her memory, "Take care of each other," and Lily broke down on the sidewalk, whispering that she tried, but she was the only one who meant it. Years later, Lily lived a modest but quiet life, working hard and slowly healing. But the scar of her brother's betrayal never faded, and family became a word she no longer trusted. Sometimes she would still pass by the old house, not to reclaim it, but to remind herself that losing that home saved her from a life tied to someone who never valued her love, and she walked away with integrity, something Jason traded for bricks and money.